Hello everyone, am I audible? So the major the major agenda of this session is to be very practical regarding the prelims preparation. So generally what happens is that as the prelims approaches, so when you get closer to the prelims, we tend to lose the rational approach and we tend to become more of worried regarding the exam and anxious, tensious. Okay, so you generally lose the practical touch. Okay, you keep on doing this, that, etc. But you are not sure how much you have finished, what is pending, which areas you have to focus. So generally, you lose the sight of the exam exactly. So in order to address this, so we have this session. In this session, I'll tell you what we are going to do. First thing, we are going to know what has to be done, how it has to be done. At the same time, when you make a plan, then whether you are executing your plan and how to be accountable to yourself and where to correct your mistakes if you go wrong. Okay, suppose you're going wrong at certain aspects, then how to correct those mistakes. So these all things we are going to address today in this session. Okay, so first and foremost thing, okay, so generally people might be thinking, since five hidden secrets, then people might be thinking that it's a clickbait, but actually the real things that I'm going to tell you, and these are going to help you and increase your productivity twice the amount that you are having now. Okay, so first and foremost, this nobody talks about, but you need to know that you need to have proper food, proper sleep. Along with that, you need to maintain proper discipline. Why you should have proper food? Because your body is nothing but a machine, and if you are not oiling it regularly, then it's not going to function. So you need to know how it will function better. Okay, how is it going to function better? It can function better only if you consume proper food. I see students preparing continuously, they work very hard by foregoing their meals. They skip their meals. At the same time, they don't have balanced nutrition. What people think that if we can consume a rice or dal, our purpose is served. But it's not like that. You need to meet the micronutrition requirement as well. So food should consist of micronutrition. Just have a check on your micronutrition if you are missing out anything like zinc, iron, manganese, potassium, magnesium. If these are the things that are missing, then in that case, it's suggested that you balance it. You know what happens? Many of the students, even after sleeping for 10 hours or 8 hours, still they feel dizzy during the daytime. The reason is they're not having proper nutrition to get good sleep. So that is the reason you feel that you're tired within less time, you still want to rest, you want to sleep. So these kind of issues you can address only through maintaining proper micronutrition. So that's why ensure your food is balanced, which is consisting of good amount of nutrition. So food is first and foremost important thing that which you have to take care in your preparation. This nobody will talk about, but I'm telling you again and again that the most neglected part of UPSC preparation is having proper diet. Okay, so ensure it's you're having a nutrition food. Okay, so nutritious food will help you remain focused. Your focus is not just dependent on your will and determination, but your body functionality as well. Okay, that is the reason you notice any of the major forces, be it forest or be it IPS, police service, or you take army, military, navy, anywhere, you will notice the diet that they follow. The nutrition is the foremost important thing they decide for a person. So you should take care of it. And next thing, sleep. See, two things, food and sleep. Sometimes, even without food, you can focus. But without proper sleep, your level of attention span will reduce drastically. You might be thinking that you are burning the midnight oil by not sleeping, but it is counterproductive in the long run. So maybe for 3 days, 4 days, it might work, but in the long run, it's not going to help you. So ensure you are having proper sleep. So, food and sleep are two important things which you cannot skip. And next is discipline. You notice that many of the students, for some days, they'll be active, they are motivated, and they tend to follow schedule which they'll work for 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours. But after few days, again they come back to 3 hours, 2 hours because they lose interest. So, what suggested is that don't overdo, don't underdo. So, keep a practical schedule for yourself and follow it. Discipline is the next most important thing without which you won't be able to clear any stage of this exam, be it prelims, mains, or optional. So, for any stage, it is very important to have discipline. So, instead of getting directly into the subject, why am I taking these things? Because I know many of my students, they fell ill in between prelims, last few months of prelims, and because of that they were not able to clear the exam. Many of my personal students, I know them very well, they are very much capable of clearing the prelims, but just a small disturbance in between because of the health. Why? Because they consume food which make them feel ill. So ensure that you are having a proper diet and ensure good sleep. Okay, so this is first thing. And next important thing that you have to look at is, do you really want to clear this exam? Because when I talk to some of the students, initially they're like, at any cost, 2025 I'm going to clear. But after few days, you see the same person, he wants to attend the functions of the family or functions of the friend or participate in extracurricular activities. Yeah, definitely you have to do all the things, but balancing your preparation along with it. But many a times you notice that you tend to deviate from your own plan and commitments that you made to yourself. It's not about anyone enforcing upon you, but you made your commitments to yourself that this schedule I'll be following, this plan I'll be executing. But after few days, you yourself tend to deviate from your plan. I hope you're getting it. Your promises, you should be sticking it to it and you should try to execute and deliver your promise. And if you're not following your plan properly and if you are failing to do it, then whom you are going to be accountable? This exam, you are doing it for yourself. So, do you really want to do this? Then, yes. So, come out of your comfort zone. Just move out of your comfort zone first. People generally want to balance everything. Okay, so they want to watch movies, they want to watch series, they want to have time for gym, they want to have time for friends. Along with that, they also want to continue the preparation. See, let me tell you one most important thing, that in this preparation, in this preparation, what happens is, if you are doing for 2 years, 3 years, then you can balance all these things. But if you are preparing for an year and if you haven't covered your basics well, if you haven't practiced before, or if you are not following your current affairs regularly, Then for these 5 months, okay, so then these 5 months, it is very important. Okay, so for these 5 months, it is very important to ensure that you are having minimum amount of hours that you are spending for your prelims preparation. So you have to move out of your comfort zones. You need to give at least 8 to 9 hours each day. Okay, 8 to 9 hours each day is required for these 5 months, or else you cannot balance your preparation. Right? So, first, food, sleep, and discipline. Then, moving out of your comfort zone. If you are working for 4 hours, 5 hours, push yourself to increase the number of hours you are working. Okay? And then, coming to sources, how you are going to balance your sources. You cannot cover all the information based on PYQs also. See, generally what and how we are going to decide our sources. Our sources are decided based on previous year questions. So which areas they are asking, to what extent you have to read. So if you look at PYQs, sometimes certain PYQs are asked from different books and not from the basic resources that are followed. So generally people tend to pick up new source and try to study it because some questions are asked. So that mistake you should not commit. So before starting your preparation, just limit your boundaries. Which resources you are going to study. Talk to your mentors, talk to your seniors, or follow someone who has already did it multiple times. They might be telling you some book list, resource list, and those lists you can note down, figure it out, and limit your resources. Okay, so for economy, IR, science and tech, environment, along with your basic resources, what you can do is you can also follow current affairs, which will cover most of the essential components for prelims. Okay, so I'll go in detail with respect to these things, but just I wanted to tell you certain basic things that you have to keep in mind, because generally people don't talk about food, sleep. They ask you to work hard, but along with hard work, what you need is that your discipline that you have to maintain. Okay, so now most of the times students either pick polity, history, economy. They study 1 month, 2 months, and later they take geography. So they either overdo static component or they overdo current affairs component. But there is a need for balance. So you have to balance both static and current affairs. How you are going to do it, we'll look at it. But we need to know what we have to do. So you have to balance both static and current affairs. So within the static, sometimes people tend to read more of history because they like it. It's interesting. They tend to read polity because it's interesting. They do it for 20 days, 30 days without having a proper schedule that how much they are going to finish and when they are going to have test. So there is a need for proper balance between all the subjects. Okay, so if you look at around 35 to 40 questions come from this area, 35 to 40 questions come from this area, and remaining from the current affairs. So you have to balance each and every subject properly. You have to understand what are the key important areas for each subject. I'll show you that I have made a schedule which will help you monitor whether you have to cover it in detail or whether you have to cover it superficially, and how many times you have to revise it, what is pending. These all things we are going to look at. Okay. So you can try to understand what has to be done in a detailed manner one by one. Okay, so you have to read, you have to revise, you have to practice. Again, balance is not just between the static and current affairs, but balance as also has to be maintained. Okay, so balance also has to be maintained between practice, reading, and revision. Okay, so what generally people do, they either read too much or they generally read less and practice more. Okay, so there is a need for balance between reading, revision, and practice. I just want to summarize what we have done so far. First, have a balanced diet, nutritious diet, good sleep, discipline, very much important. Next, move out of your comfort zone, because if you are out of your comfort zone, you might be working more number of hours easily. Okay, see, generally what happens is that anybody who chooses to do UPSC, they know that their potential is very high. They are capable of doing many things. So that is the reason they choose UPSC. So what happens is that in the process they forget the reason why they have come, and many a times they get into comfort zone. They like doing certain things and dedicating more time to it. Now, once you move out of your comfort zone, you will be finding more time for your exam. So, move out of your comfort zone. Next, balancing the preparation, static and current affairs. And balancing your preparation with respect to reading the things, revising the things, and practicing the things. So, practice has to be done daily and weekly as well. Practice has to be done daily and weekly. So, daily you have to practice PYQs and take small quiz, and next weekly you have to take tests. Okay, so don't try to see this test to judge your ability. I know that many of the students and many of my friends as well, who scores very good in these tests, do not clear final examination. The reason is that they saw it to test their ability. Okay, so do not see it as a source to check your abilities, rather see it as a source of learning. Okay, so what happens is that the books give you limited amount of information. Sometimes there is a possibility of asking what is happening in the contemporary affairs, or sometimes there might be one or two books which are covering in detail of a particular topic, which as a student you cannot study, but as a teacher they can question you and provide you the solution, which you can read to get extra knowledge on those topics. So use it as a source of knowledge. Okay, and suppose if the scores are too low, then I would suggest that talk to your mentor, consult your mentor, ask them the reasons why you're going wrong and what can be done to improve this. Okay, so just use this as a source of learning, and if the scores are low, then in that case, consult your mentor. Okay, and current affairs, which areas you have to emphasize? Current affairs, you have to take care of your mapping, IR acts and policies, science and tech, environment. These should be your agriculture. These should be your first priority if you are doing your current affairs. So in current affairs, don't try to overdo with respect to many historians keep coming, many archaeological excavations keep coming. If you keep on reading them, you will be compiling them and making a repository of facts, but it's not going to help you in any way. So you have to plan at least 5 to 6 revisions of current affairs. So far, we have tried to understand what has to be done. I'm sorry. So far we have looked at what has to be done for prelims, but how to do it. So many of the people talk about what needs to be done, but how to do it is the question. So first, I'll just share you my screen. So you can look at here. See, what are the important sources? Okay, so first you have to find your sources. So PYQs, you have a prelim simplified book by Saurabh Kumar IFS. So sir has identified the PYQs in detailed manner, and he has tried to figure out which of the areas, okay, which are the areas that you have to focus and in what manner UPSC is asking. So he tried to identify the trends as well. Okay, so for PYQs, this can be your primary source, and then for ancient India, ancient history, medieval history, 11th class Tamil Nadu book, and for art and culture, Nitin Singhania sir book can be used, and then for modern India, you can use old NCRT Bipan Chandra or modern India Spectrum by Rajiv Ahir. So these sources you already know, but to give an idea of which sources has to be followed. Okay, so next, economy, any resource or class notes of any teacher that you have followed. Along with that, economic survey and budget summary has to be followed. And class 11, Indian economic development can be used. And next, for geography, these are the sources. And for some chapters, you have to refer GC Leong. Okay, only for some chapters. And coming to Indian polity, you have Lakshmikant and 11th class NCRT. International relations, Shankar IAS International Organizations compilation. There is a compilation of international organizations by Shankar IAS Institute. So that you can use. And along with that, you can cover the current affairs magazine. Environment and ecology. Okay, environment and ecology, you have PMF or Shankar IAS, and Down to Earth magazine can be your secondary source. And then for science and tech, you have Ravi Agrahari sir book or any class notes compilation along with the current affairs. See, current affairs becomes important other than history. Okay, so you need to look at this. So these things you can follow. And then coming to how to follow it. Okay, see, I have made a schedule which is a model one. You can modify it, so I'll be giving a downloadable file to all of those who would request. Just drop a message, I'll give you the address. So or you can get it through the link that will be made in the comment section. So just try to look at it. So what has been done is that the time of the day is divided into first 45 minutes of the day should go for revision. See, I'll tell you, we have a general tendency that we believe polity I'll revise 5 times, history I'll revise 5 times, geography I'll revise 5 times, all the subjects I'll revise 5 times. But practically it is impossible. Okay, practically it is impossible. Just trust me, this is with so much of experience. I'm not telling you randomly. It's not possible to revise those many number of times. If you have to make it possible, you have to revise the first 45 minutes to 1 hour of the day of what you have done in the previous day. So whatever the static topics, if you look at here, you can see these are the topics that you have: historical background, making of constitution, concept of the constitution. So these things, whatever you have read, those things you have to revise on the next day morning for 45 minutes. Okay, so for 45 minutes you have to revise. So you have read on the previous day, now you are revising. So it is 2 times. Okay, so once you have done here, second time you are doing here, and then you will be doing PYQ analysis. Okay, PYQ analysis of the topics you are doing. So you have these 5 to 6 chapters here. So for that you have to do PYQ analysis. PYQ analysis, you have multiple sources, but in case if you feel that you don't have a proper source, so then I'll tell you that in ASVT section, so this, see, this PYQ analysis part I'm trying to provide it for free of cost to everyone. So we are not going to charge anything for this PYQ part. Generally, we have charged it for the previous students, but here you are going to have this. So you can look at it, how the PYQs are provided. So you can look at the questions. So first you go through the questions. Okay, suppose I'm reading history. So I'll go through the questions. So and so topics have been asked in different years. Okay, so these are the solutions, and okay, on this topic what are the questions have been asked. From this, what you'll get to know, from this you'll understand that what topics are being asked, to what extent I have to study, whether the resources that I have is covering the entire information, or should I have to go an extra mile to study something else. So these things you have to look at. Okay, so should I have to take an extra mile and study beyond the resources or not, depends upon the PYQ analysis. So now first do the PYQ analysis. You have the solutions also. This is being provided free of cost to everyone. So irrespective of those who join prelims mentorship program or they don't, but to help you all, we are giving it for free. Okay, so first is going through the PYQ analysis. Once you have done the PYQ analysis, then you have to take the prelims practice test. Okay, and even this is also being provided at free of cost. So here what we have done, if you go to test series, then you have PYQ practice challenge for 100 days. So here what you can do is you can go and attempt. So here not just the PYQs, but the questions which are based on PYQs. Okay, what happens is that once you start doing PYQs, so when you do PYQs, you know the answer already. You might have done last year also. But if you practice questions on the lines of PYQs, then it will help you apply your concept and just check, okay, if the question is asked on the same concept, by tweaking a little, whether you are able to address it or not. So how you are going to plan your day? First 45 minutes you are revising what you have done on the previous day, and next 45 minutes you are analyzing the PYQs and you are knowing the solutions and topics and the themes. Next 15 minutes you are taking the test. Then what you are going to do is you are going to study your static part 4.5 hours, a minimum number of hours that I have kept, which should be studied basically for beginners. Okay, somebody who has done it multiple times may study it quickly. Okay, so this is very much necessary. Okay, so 4.5 hours minimum for beginners. And here I have given you what are the pending topics. Suppose you have studied this chapter and you have not completed some of the important topics. Now, what needs to be done? You can mention here, okay, these are the topics I did not finish, or these are the topics I am facing difficulty. This will help you revise at later point of time. Okay, so static part, it is covered in detail. Okay, so polity, economy, what are the topics you have to cover, and the geography, science and tech, history, everything topic wise it's mentioned, which are the resources you have to follow, which areas you have to cover. So this has been mentioned in a very detailed manner. This you can get it. Okay, so now what we have done is here you have to look at, first we'll study, then we'll revise. When you are doing PYQs also, your revision will happen on the important themes, and PYQ tests you will be taking, you will be noticing the pending areas or the gray areas that you have. Along with it, you can revise current affairs. See, there are many resources that are available in the market, but what we have done with respect to current affairs. Okay, so I just want to show you the current affairs. See, these are the current affairs. I'll take you to polity section. See, polity. I have observed in many of the sources, the problem is that first, we don't know whether that particular topic is authentic or not. Okay, so whether it is taken from the right resource or not. Now, if you can see here, this is the Indian Express thing. If you can just click here, it will go to that particular topic. So Panama Islanders has to be relocated because of climate change. So why it is important? It's mentioned here. So you can confidently study it. Second thing, where you have to focus. Directly you can see the bolded words. Within a minute, you will finish this topic. So to study polity and governance, for July, there are around 10 topics or 9 topics. It will take not more than 9 to 10 minutes to cover this. National Flag Day, when it happens, okay, and flag design has been done by whom and what does it consist of. So what is the history? So if you look at it, you will be able to finish it in a very short span of time. So what is enemy property? Who has the control? When was the amendment done and the statistics? So quickly, what's needed can be studied in a single minute. So you can follow any resource, but I just wanted to tell you that covering all the important resources and giving you the links of the newspapers and making it easy and quick for revision, especially from the prelims point of view. What is needed for prelims? One is comprehensive, authentic, lucid. Okay, so you want your resource to be comprehensive. Next, you want it to be authentic. So whether the content is authentic or not, you have everything here. And next, you want it to be very lucid. It should be very simple. It should not be beating around the bush. So what is this Asur community? Where are they located? What is their ethnic identity? Whether they belong to particularly vulnerable tribal groups or not? Okay, so what do they do? Done. Hardly a minute to complete this resource. Oh, sorry, to complete the topic. So, what I have done is, you can follow any resource, but I just wanted to show you that we have tried to simplify the task of the students by making it very lucid and comprehensive and authentic. Okay, so that we try to do. So, like this, you can cover, and we have done it till December. Okay, so from May to December, you have all the things covered so far. So January is not yet over, so January will also be uploaded. So this is the ASVT's News Sense. Okay, the name of this source is News Sense, and you can go to this channel. You can the channel name News Sense. So it will take you to News Sense. It's not opening. So you can go there, and you can also view on daily basis. You can follow the updates. So current affairs, it is planned in such a manner that you are revising it 4 to 5 times. When I told you that we have to revise at least 5 to 6 times, you can see polity, you finish it in 3 to 4 days till December, and you have polity revision 1, polity revision 2, then you will have other revisions. You can see here the number of revisions you will be doing. So by 23rd March, by 23rd March, you will be revising till Feb. At least 4 times. Minimum 4 revisions will happen by 23rd March. And in between also, you can see almost 10 days have been given to cover your backlogs. 10 days. Okay. 10 days have been given to cover your backlogs. So you need not worry. So what happens is, generally students tend to think that current affairs is the difficult area, it's difficult to revise. But in order to simplify current affairs, we have got this. So in the News Sense magazine, we have covered everything. So you can see the important current affairs, how it has been covered, news, maps, everything. Okay, so you can see why a particular thing, and Indian Express part, explained page has been covered in detail. Okay, so Indian Express explained. See, you can see this is from the explained page itself. So this is the explain page of Indian Express. So from there it has been covered. So current affairs coverage is proper, and second, along with the coverage, multiple revisions are important. Keeping in mind science and tech, geography, IR, environment. You can see environment revision. We have 4 revisions. For science and tech, we have 4 revisions. See SNT revision 4. Okay, so like this, we have 4 revisions for entire topics, and along with 10 to 12 days for backlogs covering, and by 23rd June, you'll complete 4 revisions. So this is the plan for current affairs. So we have static part, we have current affairs, we have PYQs, we have PYQ practice and revision of the previous day, and the tests included on every Sunday. Okay, you can give tests. And now, if you are not completing a particular day, so suppose you did not practice, then you can keep it that I did not do revision of this particular day. And if have you done PYQ analysis? Yes, I have finished it. And whether you have done practice test? Yes, I have completed it. Then what are the pending topics? Okay, I did not revise, I did not complete. DPSP. So you can mention here. And whether current affairs, have you done it? Yes or no? CSAT, whether have you practiced? Whether you have finished it or not? Yes, I have done it. So in this manner, if you can use this sheet to monitor yourself. See, nobody is going to monitor you. You have to monitor yourself. And after a week, you can check how much you have accomplished and how much it's pending. So based on this, you will be able to analyze yourself and increase and decrease your time accordingly. Okay, so now everything gets finished by 3rd of April. So by 3rd of April, everything gets finished. Since 3rd of April to May, that means for 2 months. For 2 months, see, you are studying and you are revising. You are studying and revising daily. But along with that, still you have 2 months. See, current affairs, you have revised 4 times. Now in these 2 months, your static part also you will do multiple times. Current affairs, you are doing it, and PYQ analysis and practice also you are doing it. So now nothing has been left out. Okay, but you have to monitor yourself. If you can write this, which areas you are weak or which areas you did not complete, now in the next 2 months, from April 1st to May, you can revise those weak areas first, practice those areas, and then revise the remaining part and take grand test or full length test. So in this manner, you will be able to cover all of the areas. Okay, so current affairs, it's easily done. You just give 1.5 hours and read it. So I have shown you, right? So June, July, August. See, let me show you June, July, August, or May, June, July. See, this is June. How much time it will take to read June, July, August? See, this it will take 1.5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, 10 pages in 1.5 hours is very easy to do. Okay, it's not going to take much time. So 10 pages, current affairs, if you're covering daily 10 pages or 12 pages, so you're finishing your current affairs and you will also be revising and you will be giving the test. So your current affairs is easily covered. You are covering maps as well. See, you can see the important geographical places in news which are being covered very detailed manner. Okay, so in very detailed manner, your map part is done. Okay, so everything is covered here in current affairs. Static you are doing, you follow basic books, and anything that is missing, you can read from the test series. Okay, all the important questions which would be covered there, because the test series has to be on the lines of UPSC. There should not be random questions. If the test paper is asking random questions, please ignore them. And if you can monitor yourself in this way, you will be able to complete your prelims preparation in a proper manner 2 months in advance. You will be very relaxed just 2 months before the exam. Okay. So now if you have any doubts, okay, if you have any doubts, you can please ask. First thing, if you want the sheet, please message on this number. Will be sharing you the link of the sheet, because it has to be given individually if you have to mark your own things, or else anybody can change what you are doing. If a common link is shared, what happens is that anybody can change what you are doing, so that will be a problem. That's the reason that you can reach out on this number. But if you have any specific doubts, you can please ask. Any doubts regarding this prelims, sources, practice, or any other aspect? Okay, so I think there are no doubts. So good. So thank you everyone. All the best for your preparation. And if you need the sheet, just reach out on this number. Our team will send you the link which is particular for you. I told you, right, the reason for not giving the link directly is that anybody can make changes to the sheet and it would be of no use. So that's why you can message here and you can get it on the WhatsApp. Okay, so that's all. Thank you, everyone. Dealing FOMO. I'll tell you one thing. In prelims, if you go and check the paper, mostly the cutoff is somewhere around 100. So plus or minus 5. So this is the range. If the paper is average and if it's tough, it will go below. And out of 100 questions, easily from what you have read, more than 50 questions will appear. Okay, from what you have read, more than 50 questions will appear. And 30 questions you can solve from your knowledge, and rest, if you have to get 25 to 30 right, then it's a practice game. So when you practice, then you'll be able to get some 25 to 30. So that is the reason we have included PYQs practice on daily basis and PYQ analysis on daily basis. That is the reason we have given the time for it. And if you are doing this, then you need not worry about anything. So that's what I'm telling. First, why will you have FOMO? What is the reason for having FOMO? The reason is that you are not trusting the source that you are following. You don't know whether the source you are following is going to be helpful. That is the reason, based on the last 10 to 15 years trends, okay, based on last 10 to 15-year trends, what we have done, we have chosen the resources. Okay, so in last 15 years, if they have asked, in the last 15 years, if they have asked from the same resources, next coming years also they'll be asking from the same resources. And dynamic part, current affairs, it's anyhow being covered. Okay, so these two things, if you can cover, see, the paper is getting unpredictable, but you need to understand that despite having some 20 to 25 questions which you are not aware, if you can know the rest of the questions whichever that are asked from the basic books or the current affairs, if you can prepare them well, you'll be able to deal it. Okay, so how to deal it on the D day, we'll have one more session. But now what's important is that what has to be done, how it has to be done. So on the D day, if I have to explain how to deal the paper, which questions to attempt first, in what manner you have to look at, I think it will take a bit more time. So Renuka, I'll explain this in the next session. We'll be having that, how to deal the paper in the real time. In the examination, we'll take a paper and we'll sit with it and we'll try to deal it. Okay, so see, we look at those questions in the paper which we don't know. Don't bother about the questions which you don't know, but you can see that there are many questions which come from the areas which you have read, but still you are not able to do it. So our target has to be on those 90 questions which we have read, and we have those questions which we know and we have an idea about. We should not bother about those 10 questions here every time. So 10 to 15 questions to maintain the unpredictability randomly are asked and we don't know them. So nobody will know it. Not just you, anybody who has read all the books, still they don't know it. So don't bother about it. Rather try to focus on those areas which comes from the basic books and the current affairs part. So try to finish them, revise them properly, revise multiple times, you'll be able to deal it. Okay? Anything else? So if you have any other doubts, you can please ask. So FOMO can be dealt. So you have FOMO because you didn't practice the PYQs. When you don't practice the PYQs, analyze the PYQs, you won't have an idea what questions are being asked. When you are practicing PYQs, when you are seeing PYQs regularly, you'll get that confidence that the questions are coming from these area only and I'll be able to deal it. So that FOMO can be addressed when you do it on regular basis, practice of PYQs. Okay, so thank you everyone. And this sheet, you just ping me once on the, and our team will be sharing you the sheet. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.